What up, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Jazzy Talk, episode 19. And so, this is something I've been looking forward to. Tonight, we finally get to sit down with Amir, two-time Jazzy finalist now, having won the Jazzy Barcode Auto-Qualifier back in January. We were just talking about it off stream, Amir, how quickly this season seems to have passed us by. And so happy to finally have you on the show and to get your thoughts on Jazzy and 25 years of Third Strike and all that stuff. And so, yeah, welcome and thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. And yeah, I can't believe 25 years of Third Strike.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a long time. But yeah, this year especially, just time's flying, and I can't believe Jazzy's up in 2 months, and just watching the circuit. And I'm having a really great time trying to play more often and seeing everybody improve. It's a really good time.
So, for the viewers who are unfamiliar with your FGC history, just take us back as far as you can remember, like as far as fighting games go or video games. Like, how did that all get started for you?
My brother got me into I guess I was in the arcade, and my brother took me to the arcade, and I was playing like Street Fighter 1. And back then you had to actually like step up to play it. It was like on a larger, like I needed a step stool to get on it. And then I guess fast forwarding after that, UCLA, there was an arcade in Westwood that was close to UCLA, and they had an arcade. And I remember James Chen used to work there, and I started going there for Super Turbo, and then progressed just further and further. I saw tournaments at Southern Hills Golfland, and then there was Third Strike. I was living in New York at the time when Third Strike was, I guess, when I got into it, I guess you could say. And I was playing with Eddie Lee. I was playing with a bunch of other players. I saw Justin at the arcade a lot, but he wasn't playing as much as he used to. But that's everybody was playing Chun Li at the time. I would say like 90% of the community was playing Chun Li. They're all turtling and just waiting. And Eddie Lee was like the best at the turtle, I guess, play style. And I wanted to try to challenge that, so I started playing her too, and I started getting better. And then moved to California, went to Family Fun. I wasn't really good. I was like a nobody, and then I saw these guys like Pyro and like E and everybody, and they were just dominating everybody. And I was like the scrub outsider, so I wanted to get good enough to beat them one day, and eventually I did. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, the family fun days was when we met,
hmm
and I remember those earlier days where you were just learning the game, and
I was
so yeah,
I was vastly different.
yeah,
I know John D got me into watching like a bunch of Japanese matches. Same thing with Shogo. And I was just like, wow, these players are just so much better. And we were learning from there. It's vastly different than 2024, where there wasn't like a YouTube library of everything. There was like VHS tapes, and it was harder to see things that was going on, I guess, out there in the world.
yeah. Tell me more about just kind of your first memories of Third Strike. Like, did you know about it before it came out, or was it just something that you discovered after the release? Like tell
Um,
me like, some of like your earliest memories of like Third Strike.
sure.
Yeah.
At the time, I mean, I played Street Fighter 3 when it first came out. I
Uh-huh.
remember it specifically
New
being at
generation.
UCLA. Yeah, it was new generation
Yeah.
from what I remember.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I played Second Impact or not at tournaments, but I remember watching Alex Vi and John Choi play. And back then, they were just, they dominated everybody. But watching them play, I wanted to get better. And then when Third Strike came out, I think I was playing PC games at the time, so I didn't play right when it first came out. But um, when I started playing more in the FGC again, I mean, I was in New York at the time. I was, going to Chinatown Fair, so I kept watching people play, and I wanted to get better at it. It looked fun. I love the artwork. Even to date, I think it has like one of the best, just the best artwork in general. It's a pretty deep game compared to other ones, I would say. Even now in 2024, there's still things people are figuring out, and I still think there's more that people can improve on. It's just a never-ending improvement.
Tell me a little bit about like the consensus because you were there on the ground when the game was just starting out its competitive birth, I guess you could call it. And so
Yeah.
like what did people think about like the game? Just like from what you remember when it like first came out and when you first started seeing people compete at the arcades.
People were having fun. I think the majority of the New York scene, I don't think like it wasn't more casual based. It was more tournament based. It was like people want to win. So people were trying to figure out like what the cheapest stuff was, and how to get better and how to just like I'm trying to remember. It's hard. It was a long time ago. So um, everything I can think of was just people playing seriously and people enjoying the game. I mean, everybody had a good time.
Yeah.
And I remember there was tournaments that were at 8 on the break. I think it was at least I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It was in New Jersey, and that's when people got into more of like the tournament scene. So everybody would go there like pretty much. I think it was bi-weekly or weekly, and everybody was watching and they were enjoying it. The scene got bigger and bigger, bigger, like every week. So I know that people like the game for sure.
Go on a little bit of a tangent. You just mentioned 8 on the break.
Yep.
And so you used to go to 8 on the break?
Yeah, pretty much. I know. I
Yeah.
remember Arturo used to go.
Yeah.
I remember Eddie Lee used to go. And a lot of people would just have a good time going there, and they just wanted to improve. Third Strike, though, I feel was like really cheap in the sense of like people just wanted to find the cheapest stuff as fast as possible. There was no like 12 players. There was no like Remy players. It was like all Kenshan. Yun at the time wasn't popular. Genejin wasn't a thing. Like no one has seen it or wasn't, I guess, figured out in New York at the time. So it was all just Kenshan, and I would say the majority was Chun, and everybody just wanted to have the better Chun Li at the time.
Let's talk more about family because most
Sure.
people probably know you from the YouTube videos of your play in the FFA Ranbat.
Yeah, I miss those days. I mean, just rank bats in general were so much fun. 5v5s were fun. The scene had so much energy. Like during tournaments, just people like they're cheering, they're yelling, they're having a good time. They want head to head at the time was like a big thing. I remember in New York, it was not head to head. It was all just side by side. So that was completely different for me. I love like just head to head. It's more comfortable to play on and just feels more intense. You get much bigger, just area. And yeah, I mean, I saw John D TOing and Richard was saying things about running tournaments often, and it just kept getting bigger. And at the time, I wasn't winning at all. I was losing, but I was having a good time. And every single week, I just wanted to get better. I would go on weekends. I would practice as much as I could, and every time I lost, I just wanted to improve.
So tell me, like, what are some of the things that you tried to focus on? Like you were saying, trying to get better every
Sure.
weekend. And
Sure.
so, like, give me an example of something along those lines.
A lot of Chun Li stuff, in my opinion, is just like
Uh,
muscle memory, like what to punish, what not to punish. A lot of players, they're friendly. No one really tried to like high tech as much. Like everybody was like, "Oh, you can punish that," or "Oh, you could reversal super that." And I'm trying to think what else. Execution wise, I was learning how to car at the time because it was like a new thing for me. No one ever really carred in New York at the time. So at family, like carring was a big thing. And a lot of players were learning because they would see like Powerly like car command grab and everybody with Chun Li and Q, for example. There's a lot of Q players too. So a lot of players were learning how to Kara. I'm trying to think what else. Just like building meter, running away. At the time, I was like more of like a turtle player because I was so familiar with it through New York play style. And Eddie Lee was like, the god of turtling. I know Justin took over after, but for me, I wanted to switch that up. I was like, I'm tired of turtling. I want to I want to be aggressive. So I started moving forward more often. I started low jabbing a lot more. It was kind of reckless play, but no one was really used to it, so it kind of worked in my favor.
So during that your run of Ranbats, for the most part, like when I think about who was always in that like top three, it was usually either you, Pyro, Yi, Kenai. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's
John D
pretty
was in
much.
there
Yeah,
sometimes.
sometimes John D would make
Yeah,
would make a top three. Maybe Frankie made it a few times. I don't know.
yeah.
Um, you know,
I guess Vic too. We're missing Vic.
yeah, but I don't remember. I think Vic kind of started coming to the tournaments less and less around the time when the Rambats were really picking up. I
Pretty
think.
much. He was
Yes.
really strong though, but
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, I would say like Pyro 5-star, and I would say like Frankie were like top three most
Yeah.
consistent. I would say.
Yeah. So like, Evo Japan is happening this weekend,
Mm.
and so uh, sometimes I think about other Japanese tournaments like SBO or Co-op Cup, and so like I just named four players, right? You,
Right.
Pyro, E, um, Kenai, and then like a fifth, right? Maybe a John D or a Vic.
Hmm.
Um, w- how do you know? What do you think the chances of that team would be at a tournament like Hoop? Like if
Uh,
all of those players, like a lot of those players still play, right? Like
right.
pretty sure they still play, maybe not competitively or openly, but you know, what do you think would be the chances of that team
So do you
in
want
like a tournament like Cooperation Cup?
them everybody at their prime or everybody in like 2024?
Okay, so let's do 2024.
Okay, 2024. I think
But
Pyro's still really strong. I think
uh-huh,
5-star probably one of the stronger ones out of all of
uh-huh,
us. Ken I haven't spoke with in a long time, so I don't know if he's playing.
yeah,
I don't know how well I would do, but I would try my best. I don't think I would be like super nervous. I'm actually really excited to play out there.
uh-huh,
Not like an arrogant thing. I'm just really excited to want to play against like different play styles, and I play differently, so I feel like it'd be a little different for them as well.
mm-hmm,
But yeah, I think Pyro would be like number one. I played some casuals with him pretty recently,
mm-hmm,
and he's still extremely strong. Like I think overall, when you have knowledge about the game and you look at it as like everything about the game, I think he has the most knowledge out of all of us. I would say,
yeah,
and I guess back then at our prime, I mean, pretty much the same. I think Pyro would still do the best out of all of us. I know he's been out there and he has beat a couple players. I think we made it to like second round like once or twice.
mm-hmm.
um,
Well,
but yeah, that's just those specific players. So out of those like four or five.
mm-hmm. So I wanted to pick your brain about those players specifically, and so like
Sure.
especially like what it is about their gameplay that you think makes them so strong. And so we're already on the topic of Pyro,
Sure.
and so you guys have played in so many sets throughout the years,
Yeah,
both
we
casual and also a lot of tournament sets, a lot of grand finals, a lot of winners finals, a lot of losers finals, just a lot of high stakes matches between you and Pyro. And so like, in your mind, what makes him, or what makes him such a good player, or what made him so dominant, like back when we were kind of starting the game?
I would say adapting it would be like the number one thing to make someone
Mm-hmm.
like I consider like really good, because every week we would play, or every other week, and we would have like very specific gameplay styles, and that just didn't work over time. Like we knew how to play against each other so well that we had to like
Mm-hmm.
think outside and do some really crazy things. And I feel like when you play against someone so often, that's like the number one thing you have to do. You can't have that specific play style, or else you're just not gonna work out. So Yeah, he would always come back stronger. And then if I were to lose, I'd be like, okay, what did I do wrong? Or what can I do different next week? And it was just like a cycle that would happen nonstop over a period of a couple of years. And what's crazy to me is thinking back about playing that much and just how many tournaments we played in is that we always tried to switch up our gameplay. Like there were certain things we would do that are obviously always going to be there, but if we didn't play different, it would show and, it would just not turn out in our favor.
And so let's talk about Yi, because we were just talking about 5-star earlier. What do you
Sure.
think makes 5-star such a tough competitor?
I would say he's hard to read. He
Hmm.
doesn't have like a very specific gameplay style either. He can really just like turn it up, and when he's on, it's like he stays on. So there are certain players that like once they're on, it's very hard to beat them, and not everybody has that. I would say it's very difficult to keep that up. So I would give props to E for that, especially. And he also adapts really well. Like every time we play differently. I played him at Barcode, a couple times, and it was very vastly different than when we used to play in the Family Fun days. It was not the same at all. So
So
trying to think what else. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think that's pretty much all I could really say
Yeah.
about Fire. He's just super strong.
Yeah. Now, with someone we would really have to like think about in their prime would be Kenai.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
played so much Third Strike with Kenai. Uh, Probably too much Third Strike with Kenai. Um, I want to know what you think as far as what made him like
Okay.
he was tough. Like
I
it was
I have a
always a
little.
challenge, But like, what did you think about Kenai?
I guess I could say quite a bit about Kenai because we were
Yeah.
good friends at one point, and like we were playing. He was one of the only players that had, I guess, like mooks in his car where it was like a trunk full of frame data on all games. So Kenai, I would say, would be the person that would study frame data. Not a lot of people to date still study frame data at all, but I would say that's pretty important. Also, he was so reckless. There was no. Kenai had the ability to play really smart, or he could just play completely reckless and not care. So that would throw off your gameplay really, really bad. And Makoto's that type of character, in my personal opinion, where she's like a gamble character. It's either she wins really badly or she loses really badly. I don't think there's like a specific in between where she just plays solid like the rest of the cast, in my opinion. And someone else I can mention this, I don't know if a lot of people remember. I think it was the first SBO. I think it was Izu who won with Makoto, and then we never heard about him again. So I feel like it's hard to stay consistent with Makoto.
Let's talk about some of the other FFA legends
Sure.
from back in the day. We briefly mentioned, or you briefly brought up Vic.
Yeah, I looked up
Uh,
to Vic a lot. Like Vic was one of the players I respected probably the most at the time. Um, I'll never forget that I saw him playing casuals and he had like a little notebook in his pocket. And I was like, what is that? And then he was, I guess, writing down what would work and what wouldn't work and what beat what. So I was like, wow, that's insane. Like, I think that's really, really cool. And I think that everybody should do that. And that actually leads to something that I've been doing recently. And I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but this really helps in tournament play. There's a lot of times where muscle memory, it's very hard to remember everything that you can punish in the game, for example, right? So on my cell phone, I have a little notepad that has notes on what can I punish with Chun for specific characters, and I've been trying to add to that more and more and more because there's very, very big specific ones that not a lot of people will know off the top of their head. But it's always good to like reanalyze that right before you play a match. I mean, it's all legal and it's just data that you've had for a long time, and it's like a refresher right before you play an intense match.
so what did you do? Look at the notebook like right before the match, like in
Yeah.
the tournament?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I was showing Christat, for example, at Barcode recently. I showed him. I was like, "Hey, look, I have this little like thing on my phone. I'm reviewing every single thing." This was actually at Jazzy, the second year at Barcode. I looked at my phone pretty much before every match just to see like what I need to do or what's good against a specific character. but it's mainly just like reversal supering or what can I punish, what can I punish. I remember I played a couple Necros as well, and even to date, like I don't know. I mean, I've played for so long, I should know all this by heart, but it's hard to remember everything. And Necro specific, it's very. I think Necro just there's so many limbs that he has that are punishable that I just need to remember. So I will definitely look at that list. I mean, I'll show everybody at Jazzy this year. It's not like a long list, but it's a fast get to the point. This is what you need to focus on. Look out for this.
Well, since you mentioned Necro, let's talk about this matchup now. Since
Okay.
because we want to kind of just let the conversation go where it needs to go.
Sure.
So, like, I mean, obviously, I am a Necro main. Been playing Necro for a really long time. You've pretty much stuck with Chun, and before we talk about the matchup, I just wanted to just you know kind of put it out there that y- like I could not touch you. I could not touch you.
I think
Like
we played it like
I could not touch you for like back in before I moved to New York. Like
right.
I didn't like I felt more comfortable with the Urian with my Urian versus your Chun than I did with Necro versus your Chun. And I don't know what it was at the time, but I just felt like the matchup was insurmountable. And I think, in a sort of indirect way, you kind of sort of lit the fire under me. Where okay, I'm going to because like across the board, everyone says horrible matchup, Necro-chan, and it is. But that doesn't
No,
mean that
that's true.
Necro can't win.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
I just kind of set out and went, okay, you know what? And I think a lot of that probably has to do with kind of maybe coming up in family too. Like, okay, so I'm really into this character, but I gotta know how to beat the top tiers. I gotta know how to deal with Chun. I gotta know how to deal with Yun. I gotta know how to deal with Ken. I gotta deal with Makoto. Like every weekend at these Rambats, like you guys would just destroy me. Like, maybe I might squeeze into a top 8, but like once I got in there, it was clear that I did not belong at the time. And
I
I just it was I just kind of like credit like you and Pyro and Yi and Kenai and all those players for, giving me like, hey, this is a problem, right? That you can kind of, try and get around. Not to say that I've solved it. Like you said, I don't think, anything is eternally solvable in Third Strike. I think you acquire a certain level of knowledge and then you just go out there and play and then see what kind of storylines you can create with your opponent. And so, but but yeah, like I just remember before I moved to New York, I just could not touch you, Amir. I just could not. It felt like you were unbeatable. And so yeah, like tell me a little bit about like the Necro Chud matchup, like because there wasn't really a whole lot of Necros back in the day.
no, there wasn't. I
Yeah.
think you were one of the very rare Necro players,
Remember Slime
and
Lord? You remember
yeah,
Slime
Slime
Lord?
Lord. I was
Slime
about to
Lord?
mention
Remember
Slime
Slime
Lord.
Lord?
That
I
it
think
was just
Geo.
you.
Someone mentioned Geo. Wow, someone mentioned Geo in the chat. I think Geo used Necro a little bit. I
Yeah,
think.
Gio did use Necro. I remember that,
Yeah.
and I wish Gio was back because he was such a
Yeah.
good player.
There
He
was
was like the
another
epitome of a
family.
wall.
There was another family fun Necro player. I totally forgot what their name was, but
I can't
like
remember.
super old school. Like oh man, yeah. I gotta dig into the archives, but yeah, not a whole lot of like Necro players. Not a whole lot of Yang players, at least in SoCal.
Right.
Definitely not a lot of 12 players. Or Vi would bust out his
Yeah.
12 every now and then.
Pretty much.
Yeah, just kind of like not a lot of. I mean, we had Ty and we had Ghetto D, so we had a little
Yeah.
bit of Alex, but
There
I
was
think
Andrew with a Buki.
yeah, but I think for the most part, I think at family, it was pretty heavy as far as like top 5 characters.
Yeah.
Would
There
you
was
would you agree or disagree with that?
no, I'd say there's a lot of
Yeah,
diversity, but when you were saying like consistent top like 4 placings,
yeah,
yeah, I mean it was pretty
yeah,
much it was the SSS tier of the game.
yeah.
I mean Yun Kenshan, Makoto. Although I don't know if I would put Makoto at the top. I feel like like I said, like Makoto is just certain days she's just off.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking about necro players, this most recent Evo, I got double jeopardied by a really good. I think I hope I'm not going to say this wrong, but I think he's from a Chilean necro.
Mm-hmm.
He bodied me like, and I was just like confused because I was like, I've never played against a necro that would just like kind of sit there and make me like. I guess I would say I moved pretty bad. Movement for me was terrible, but I mean, I lost,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, damn, he was willing to eat every single throw. And I mean, I have some ideas of how to play against him nowadays, but he was a very strong necro. I always see things like Sugi. I wish I could play like someone like Sugiyama. I know seeing him play is just like kind of magical. I feel like most of the necros I see that are Japanese necros, they're they're like really in your face, and they're willing to walk forward and block. They're really good at walking forward and blocking and just guessing right, I guess you could say. It's I don't want to say it's random, because one thing about third strike is like you really need to know how your opponent reacts to things. Like, are they going to low jab a lot, or are they going to jump, or are they willing to eat like 35 throws? So playing against someone like Sugiyama, for example, I would be very fearful, I guess, of hitting buttons, because I know he's going to try to parry them. And I would really like to try playing him one day for sure. But yeah, Necro in general, I feel like can be a really good, character. He's intimidating when he's in your face and he has the lead and he has meter. Even if he doesn't have meter, I mean, if he gets like one parry, it's like half your life. A lot of stun on Chun. Unfortunately, Chun has a low stun, so
Yeah. Well, Chun can't have everything.
no, no,
Amir.
no, she can't.
Yeah. Yeah. So off the stream, you were saying that you have some spicy takes
Oh
about
God.
Chun.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to probably 100% disagree with me, but I mean, I'll throw it out there. So lately, I think in 2024, with a lot of new play styles, specifically, I guess, in the US, I would say Chun-Li is not SSS tier. I've been playing against, I've been getting dominated on the online circuit. Nika KO really strong, Frankie really strong, Neem really strong. But those three specific players, they're really good at waiting. I feel kind of helpless with not being able to build meter. And I know there's like different play styles you can play, but you also have to play like a utter robot. Like if you miss one Kara, you're going to get heavily punished for it. So I don't know. I just feel like Chun-Li is very technical. A lot of people say she's like the scrubbiest character in the game. But at the highest level of play, I really feel like I would not put her SSS tier. So that was another reason why I'm trying to play other characters to see what I feel more comfortable with, and something that, I don't know, feels more solid, I guess you could say.
Would you base that tier on like just purely theoretical conditions, like, or would it have to be based on like what like an actual player can do? Because like if we think about like the best Chun player right now, who is it?
Mhm.
Nuki.
I would say, yeah, Nuki, MOV, probably those two.
Yeah, I would take Nuki over MOV personally, but yeah. So let's say we have Nuki, right? Either of those players, like
Sure.
like based on those players, you still don't think that Nuki and MOV or Chun-Li is SSS tier top
I
one.
think I think when you watch them play and they have like, I would say like a 99% Kara ability, they're very, very big specifics. And I'm actually really excited to watch Evo this year, and also Jazzy and Evo Vegas, like just all three tournaments. I want to see a lot of more Ken Chun matchups, because I feel like Ken has been winning more, and that's actually a very tough match for me specifically. Um, but yeah, I would love to see Nuki play against a lot of the US Kens, especially Frankie and Neiman, because those guys are really good. I want to see how Nuki builds meter or just what he does, because it's just so tough nowadays. And I want to learn. I mean, this is one time, and I would say 2 decades, where I feel kind of stuck. I have like a very couple small amount of ideas that I could try to maybe improve, but I feel like a lot of people have that matchup down really well, specifically those two players against Nuki. I would love to see like a money match or like a first to five or something like that.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's a testament to the scene and all of the years that people have put into the game to try and beat Chun.
Yeah.
Made this point before that I think like for even like, especially in like a tournament like Coop, like I would hate to be a Chun player because everyone knows how to play against you. Everyone has labbed against your character, because you're the biggest threat. And
Pretty
so,
much.
yeah, I mean, that makes sense, I guess. But again, when I think about like the ability and not just like over time, but just like their like Nuki's ability to just you know perform under like really stressful conditions.
Yeah,
Uh,
he has the knowledge.
yeah.
He has the I would say execution is number one with
Mhm.
why I think Chun would be SSS tier. Like if you can Kara 100% of the time, of course she's probably the number one character in the game. But if you don't, or if you mess up a lot, for example, it's so crucial to Kara with her. Like you're not going to be the best Chun without Karing, for example. Um, and I've seen matches where Nuki loses. Like he'll miss one Kara, he'll get a stand forward, and he'll lose the entire match because of it, or
Well,
at least a
then
round.
what the Chun player can do then is then resort to thinking more about game state, right?
Yeah,
Like, do I need to car grab here? I mean, I'm
I
in
feel,
range, I can, but do I really need to do it here?
I feel like you have
Yeah,
to. I feel
yeah,
like for players like Nuki, like he's so intimidating because you're gonna get thrown, and
yeah,
you're gonna get thrown from far.
yeah,
So this applies to any Chun, by the way. I feel like Chun isn't as scary without Kara,
yeah.
and I know no one's gonna agree with me on this, but try winning tournaments with Chun without Karing against pro players right now. It's very, very, very hard. It's an absolute mandatory thing that you have to
Hmm.
be good in. And that's something I'm gonna work on because I haven't been working on Karing as much as I used to. At my prime, I had it down pretty well. But nowadays it's just I just need to figure out a way to get better at it.
Yeah. So in just a few minutes here, you're going to be entering the I think this is the 12th Jazzy online event. I think I saw
Wow.
you entered. Uh, Shout outs to Rizwan Super Lore Boys. They will be hosting a Jazzy online event this season. We did Jazzy Online. Shout outs to Vankabot and all of the organizers and streamers who are a part of Jazzy Online. We still have a month to go after this event. We still got 3 more to go in May. And so that leaderboard, again, very interesting scenarios. We have Nika firmly in first place. But if Nika decides to qualify at Brooklyn Games, which is going to be next month, May 18th, then the leaderboard gets a little bit more interesting. And so, yeah, you're going to be competing in Jazzy Online in a few minutes here, Amir. And so I wanted to get your thoughts on what you have thought about it so far. I know you were talking about how you've been able to play really strong players. And so, just tell me a little bit about your thoughts on Jazzy Online and yeah, and how it's been for you as a player and what you think it does for the scene.
I think it definitely needs to be there. And originally, I mean, I wasn't playing Third Strike as much until I ran into Venkabot streams, and then I saw his community was really awesome. Very appreciative of him running, weeklies, and I actually got back into wanting to play more because of him. And playing on Jazzy Online, just in general, it's always a good time. I've been talking to more players. We've been running more sets every now and then. Uh, I just wish. I mean, for my character specifically, I think Chun's hard on Fight Cage, just because I think the game runs a little bit faster than it does offline. I feel like you have more time offline. But I am improving, and I like playing against like a majority of like different diverse characters. Playing Bo is a lot of fun. Even though like I one touch and I'm dead, but it gets me to want to learn how to like run away better, or how to improve pretty much. And I think I have entered every single one except the last two. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go because I just had some plans. But I'm gonna try to enter pretty much all of them until the Jazzy finale, pretty much.
And so you won the Jazzy Barcode Auto-Qualifier.
Mhm.
That means two-time Jazzy Barcode winner. And so you're going to be entering your second finale. We were talking about what a big year 2024 is for Third Strike.
Yeah.
We have Evo Japan this weekend. We have Jazzy in June, Evo in July, and just announced there appears to be an event in the works in Texas in October. Again, super big year for Third Strike. And we're not even mentioning the other FGC majors where Third Strike will most likely have a presence. And so just kind of thinking about what the calendar year holds for Third Strike and kind of looking back on all the time that you've invested in this game. Yeah, what would it mean to do really well in tournaments this year, 2024 in Third Strike? You know, like what would it mean to like win Jazzy? What would it mean to win Evo? Like what would all that mean to you?
It would mean a lot. I mean, I'm almost in my 40s, so I mean, come May I'll be 40, and I'm really happy I'm still able to compete with everybody. I know there's a lot of new players and just players that are just so strong. I want to try to give them as much competition as I possibly can. It's always fun for me. The competitive drive means everything. I've been to every single Evo in my life. I've pretty much wanted to enter everything I possibly could. I just haven't been out to Japan yet, but I'm very excited for the Jazzy circuit. I want to try my best. I did pretty decent last year. I mean, I was happy with my placings, and I'm gonna try to practice more so I can give people more competition this year. And I just want to watch a bunch of matches. I'm very excited to watch a lot of matches. I'm like a stream monster now, you could say, but I want to see so many different matches that hopefully happen at Jazzy.
Yeah, speaking of Jazzy finale, you can get your tickets start.gg/Jazzy3S. I see we got True Tech in the chat. Shout outs to True Tech, who amazing photographer for Jazzy last year. And so yeah, tell me a little bit about more about your experience at Jazzy Finale weekend. And so yeah, tickets on sale start.gg/Jazzy3S. And so yeah, how was that experience for you? Yeah, I think it was your first
Yeah,
Jazzy Finale weekend. And so
pretty
yeah,
much.
what was that like?
I had an amazing time. Honestly, the arcade was excellent. The Akihabara arcade was really spacious. I was actually like in shock of how many cabinets they had and how like there were so many TVs to watch like all the matches on. I had an amazing time. I want to try to attend as many as I possibly can. I'm actually, upset that I didn't show up earlier, so I apologize. But even just to support the community, I can't thank you guys enough for running Jazzy and just everybody on the team, and just the love for Third Strike, because Third Strike is such a fun game and it's just never ending. I don't think it's ever going to cap out. If I guess that's the way I look at it. Like there's always room to improve, and yeah, I guess that's all I can really say about the Jazzy circuit. I just want to continue to always be there, or at least try.
Yeah. And so I kind of wanted to end the stream by talking about like the game itself. You were saying, that you are really pleased to see that everyone is still playing it. Um, like what makes it such a good game in your mind? Like if someone asked you, well, why should I play Third Strike? What would be how would you answer that question?
I mean, personally for me, if it's like someone was like, "Hey, why?" I would say, I love the artwork. I love the fact that there's so much knowledge in the game. Like, I mean, there's just so much to soak in and learn. And even to date, I'm so far like from getting to where I want to be. I'm sure players like Nuki and MOV have room for improvement too. I mean, I'm sure these players have like more than 10,000 games played, but no matter what, it's like you want to consistently learn. Music's good, cast is great. The parry system allows everybody to, compete, I guess you could say. So even the low tier can essentially win, which is always very fun to see. Like players like Remy or even Sean, for example. I mean, Sean has been. I've seen a lot of Japanese Seans, and they're doing really well. So um, yeah, just in general, just really fun game. I don't think. Hopefully, it never dies. And it's just been part of me for so long. It's my favorite Street Fighter for sure.
Well, again, you can catch Amir in action later tonight. And I think pretty soon here we're gonna have the Riz One Jazzy Online event number 12, and so good luck in that tournament, Amir. And so be sure
Thanks.
to catch that stream. And so before we get out of here, I just wanted to again thank you, Amir, for continuing to play the game and for continuing to express your love for the game, and uh, wish you nothing but the best. Not just at Jazzy finale, but you also have plans to go to Evo, and so I hope you do well there too. And so again, if you want to learn more about the Jazzy Circuit, you can go to jazzycircuit.org. If you want to follow Amir, you can follow him on Twitter, AmirXL. And so be sure to give Amir a follow. He's a really sick chun player. And so, be sure to reach out and to make sure that Amir can show how beastly he is at this game.
I'll try. I'm still
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah, and so yeah, looking forward to seeing you in action later tonight. And yeah, thanks to everyone for tuning in to Jazzy Talk, and I'll see you all next week. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, you guys. See ya.